So tell me a little bit about how you got started in STEM and what your path into electronics and putting LEDs on clothes and things like that was like. How did that all happen?
Yeah, it was purely intellectual drive. And
Mhm.
I started as a physicist. I'm still a physicist, but I did very different things. So um, my education is focused on condensed matter physics, and I did experimental condensed matter, which then led me into producing computer chips. So
Mhm.
my very first job was making silicon photonics job, the silicon photonics chip that
Mhm.
is basically using CAD tool to draw the layout and how you would layer the materials to make semiconductors and use them in like data centers. You can
Mhm.
have photons transmitting on chip and converting that into electronic signal, and you can communicate between data center servers. So
Nice.
that really helped me understand the scale of things. Back when you're doing research, like I did my PhD in plasmonics, is applied physics, and I handmade all these little chip structures in the nanometer and micrometer size,
Dang.
and everything was under the microscope. And sometimes you even need to have pick your eyelash to pick things up.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's all these hard work and manual work that those were pretty small scale. So usually as a researcher, you write a paper and you inspire the community, you inspire scientific community, and you propose applications of these really cutting edge innovation.
Mhm.
But sometimes they don't end up in real products to be
Yep.
used. So my industry experience really helped me understand how do I convert something we invent in the lab into real life products that millions, even billions of people are using.
Mhm.
So and then I moved on to doing, actually while I was doing that, I started doing design for fashion.
Mhm.
So I think I got into Arduino because I was hacking on a robotics project with some friends,
Mhm.
and we were using open source to build a robot and also like brain signal sensing. I was
Mm.
working with a friend who had his own startup called Brainco, and we did a project like embedding the using brain sensing to control the colors and the patterns of LEDs on the dress through Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
So that was one of um, my main hits in the 2016 San Francisco Fashion Week.
Ah,
So
nice.
yeah, so I did that just because I didn't think about why. I just thought, why not? Like
Yeah.
I'm doing all this maker stuff and then I'm making traditional fashion. Why can't I combine both? So I just started making garments that had LEDs and had motion, like flying wings
Nice.
with servos. And
Mhm.
I attended to Maker Fair and turned out there's a whole community of people doing all that. It's super cool to meet all these wearable tech gurus and other makers. So there's a lot of really cool ideas going on. But then the one thing that made me really drove me down this path was that yes, we can hack on things, we can make one piece, but there are people asking me where to buy my designs. I have
Mhm.
no idea. I was like, it's just my crazy idea, and I don't know how manufacturing works. I was curious, so I started digging into how do I convert these handmade prototype into repeatable products,
Mhm.
and it's a whole can of worm I opened up. I just ran down a rabbit hole, found out all these problems in the fashion industry. Like everything was done so manually, and there's so much back and forth and human errors that shouldn't even occur. So my very first batch of design took more than a year to develop.
Yeah.
And it was crazy for me because I did the chip design. I could the efficiency of chip manufacturing is so much higher, so much more streamlined and automated.
Yeah.
Whereas clothing, this thing that we have been doing for thousands of years,
Yeah.
we with thousands of years of knowledge takes you a year to develop
Yeah,
no longer
and
content.
and still a lot of
Yeah,
handwork in the final sewing of garments. Yeah.
it's so sure, but then we have all these technologies that we can put together to really speed it up. If I have an idea in the morning, I have this outfit in the afternoon because
Yeah.
I have all these things ready. Maybe, yeah, if I need to wait for material, sure, I send this to like Spoonflower to print it. I get it in a week.
Mhm.
Once the material's here, everything's done really fast. So I just thought that things that we can do at small scale has to find a way to get into the bigger scale.
Yeah.
So that's why I just went all the way down to producing everything in a technical manner and just cut off all the waste and unnecessary time that's needed. Yeah. So I think the industry is changing, and I'm using this to also drive change.
Mhm.
So yeah, I kind of pushed myself from doing just fundamental research and experimentation to be an entrepreneur because that's how we can also get things to scale and make changes and make better impact.
Yeah.
So
Cool.